Good morning, everyone. I have the absolute pleasure to interview my good friend Sara. How are you doing today, Sara?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Good, good, good. So before we get too far into the interview, why don't you introduce yourself, what color belt you are, and what school you train at?
My name is Sara Mantz. I am a blue belt and I primarily train at UFC, and then on the occasion I train at North Shore Jiu-Jitsu Club.
Okay, that's right. I think my first time I met you guys, it was at a tournament and your boys were competing and like they didn't have a coach. Some reason I don't know what happened. They didn't have a coach, so I coached one of your boys at one of those tournaments.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember if you were doing jujitsu already by that time.
Um, Probably not, because it's probably their first year that they were actively competing. And at that time I was not competing, or I wasn't training at all. I was just going to the gym and they were taking class while I was lifting weights. But I would ask the coaches what they needed to work on at home. So I was kind of attempting to help them, but I wasn't taking any classes yet. But I was still asking questions so that I could help them at home.
So, what got you to start your boys in jujitsu?
Um, when we moved to Hawaii in 2022, I needed a place to go to the gym, and I wanted them to be able to be physically active because 4 boys with ADHD, and at that time I was running the household by myself, and they needed to burn out some energy. And so I put them in jujitsu, and that gave me the opportunity to focus on myself so that I could work and become a better mom. So they were doing that. Um, and my oldest, actually, at the time, he was doing boxing, and my second son, Ezra, was doing jujitsu. And after Ezra won his first competition at Naga and came home with a katana, my oldest son got a little jealous and was like, "Hey, I want to do that too." And so he started about 4 months after his little brother, and they've just loved doing it and going to the competitions.
You mentioned your sons have ADHD. Did you notice any changes from like did it help them or did it make any difference that they were going to jujitsu? Did it change their focus or didn't really have too much of an impact from that standpoint?
Um, I don't know. I feel like some days that you could see that they can focus a little bit better. Other days, I feel like it doesn't matter. They're just energizer bunnies, and they're just going to go and go and go no matter how much exercise you give them.
What ages are they?
My oldest he's 13, and then 11, I don't know, 9. Well, they'll be 9 in December, and then my youngest one will be 6 in October.
Wow, that's a handful.
Yeah.
I I had Carter, and that was kind of a lot. One, I can't imagine four Carters all going around at the same time.
Right. And my oldest, I tell people, because 13, you don't um, think that kid would be very big, but he is almost as tall as I am. And I'm 5'9", and he's 5'8", and almost weighs about as much as I do. And so it's fun because he'll just try and size me up. I'm like, we're done.
That's funny. I was at UFC last night, and uh Zeke's mom and dad are there, and the
Hmm.
dad was saying, "Oh, I can't wait till Zeke gets bigger so we can roll together because Zeke's so
Yeah.
small, yeah, compared to the dad." But I mean, in your situation, your son's almost as big as you already.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, unfortunately for him, I mean, maybe not unfortunately, I will sometimes be like, "Hey, you're my size. Can I practice this on you, or can we drill what we just learned in class tonight when we get home?" And because I didn't quite get it. And so, fine, mom, and he's a good sport about it, and he'll do it with me.
That's really good. So, does Mililani have a teens class, or does your son straddle kids and adults class?
He straddles kids in adult class, yeah. So
Uh,
if I'm training on a Wednesday or Friday night, I typically will have him do the kids class because there's not very many people his size, and then I have him do the adult class where he can get more I mean, they're learning the same thing, but he'll have a better opportunity to drill with someone more his size.
So then your three younger boys are all doing the kids class.
Yeah.
What what color belts are they?
Um, oh, I don't know. Ezra is a gray black. Vincent's just a plain gray. Theodore is a gray white, and then my youngest Jasper is a white belt.
Okay. So I'm assuming your youngest son just started probably a little while ago then.
Yeah,
Because what do you say? He's 6?
he'll be 6 in October. Um,
Ah.
but he's kind of has the attention span of a squirrel, and so I felt bad about having him in the kids class.
Do you think it, from the standpoint of your three boys, does it make it easier or more difficult that they're all in the same class training together?
Um, when they first started, I would say with the oldest three, when they first started, it was more difficult to have them together just because they'd feed off of each other. And Vincent and one of the middle ones, Theodore, they are very similar and they like to butt heads. And so that would cause issues in class. Um, or they want to train with each other. I'm like, no, you can train at home with each other. Go find someone else to go harass and train. Now that they've gotten a little bit older and have done different competitions, more serious competitions, they still on occasion will be obnoxious to each other, but not nearly as what it was a few years ago.
Mm, mm. So with with that said, right? I mean, those four boys, do they bring it home and try to do stuff to each other at home?
Yeah. Yeah, all the time. Um, which it's great for Ezra. This poor kid. He Vincent is built stocky like I am, and Ezra is built like his dad and just skinny, and he's going to be tall and lean and skinny. And so in weight class, he's the smallest. He's usually on the smaller end. And so then when you've got a brother twice his size, who will be like, oh, I'm going to sit on top mount and make you figure out a way to get out of this. I'm like, can you not, please? But it's also a good thing because then Ezra's got to figure out how to get out of someone that's bigger than him because he's going to face that often with him being on the smaller end of his weight class.
Yeah, I can only imagine. You probably have like you don't have a whole lot of fragile stuff around with kids roughhousing, right?
No, no. And we have a room that's got gym mats and I've posted it on my Instagram sometimes with the boys. It's got a mini rock wall and gym mats and things that they can hang on from upside down.
Oh,
And so we've got a room where we can go train and,
oh,
you know, take it out.
that's very nice. That's very nice. Yeah, and try to save the rest of the house. Let them go wild in
Yeah.
that one room, right?
Yeah. Try and save the couches and anything else that they can possibly damage. Yeah.
who did who did they start when they started class? Who were they under? Like who was coaching the kids class?
Um, Coach Jay was coaching the kids class and Coach Mark was helping with the kids class. And Coach Kavai and Coach Zach were also there. Coach Zach was a white belt at that time when my boy started, and I don't remember what color Coach Kavai was. He may have, I don't remember what color he was when the boys started.
And then who's coaching them now?
Coach Zach has been coaching them on the level 2 side. And then
I
Coach
see.
Mark helps with the littles because I've got Jasper on the, not the toddlers side, but the level 1, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess it's fortunate for like you guys out there. You guys actually have two separate mat spaces. So do they sometimes run, like you said, like older and younger kids on separate sides?
Yeah. So on the red mat, it's typically like the level 1s, the kids that are have started little grapplers or too old to start little grapplers, and so they're um, at beginning class. And then on the black mat is the level 2, so kids that have gray belts or have a certain amount of stripes sometimes, or they show that they're competent in their beginning skills, and so that they can move up and have a little bit more of a challenge.
That's good. That's good that they could do that. All right. So the big question becomes, why did you get started? Officially
Um,
get started, right?
why did I officially get started? Um, Coach Zach would harass me about it all the time because they'd see me sitting on the sides and asking questions and trying to figure out. And I was also not afraid to yell at my kids if I saw them messing around on the mats. Um, and Theodore was going to be starting jujitsu, and he was nervous to start, even though his brothers, two older brothers, were starting. So I told him that I would join with him. And so at the end of 2023, um, I started with them, and I started that with him, just so that I can be like, look at, you can do hard things,
Mm.
and mom can do hard things with you. So that's,
Oh,
started that.
that was a good plan to kind of convince him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So prior to you doing jujitsu, right? Maybe in your youth, did you do any sort of sports or athletics?
Um, I did softball um, in middle school. I grew up hiking and being outside. I attempted to do cross country in high school, but between cross country and then having to do um, color guard, so I twirled flags all throughout high school. It was kind of hard to do. Um, so I did marching band and dance through high school and through college. And then just trying to be as physically active as I could with being the only girl and having all brothers. So I had to keep up with them.
Something with you and boys, right? You got four boys of your own. How many brothers did you have?
I have three brothers, but then my dad was involved in scouts pretty much all my life. So there was always boys running through the house. And so I just, yeah, me and boys. I
So you mentioned you moved to Hawaii. Where were you previously?
previously, with my ex-husband in the military, we were at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Um, and we lived there for a few years. And then even before that, we were in Nevada, because I was born and raised in Nevada, and he'd gone to college there. And so we were 30 minutes outside of Vegas.
Oh, okay. Okay. So could you have pictured yourself, as a, like maybe when you're in high school or even early college, doing something like jujitsu or some type of martial art?
Um, yes and no. I've always enjoyed watching martial arts and thought, wow, that's really cool. I wish I could do that. I like the women that do that are amazing and strong and brave. And I don't know if I'd ever be brave enough to do that, or strong enough to do that. But I've always had a love for it, and just never tried it.
Well, good thing you had your boys. They got you started in it. Yeah.
Yeah, they get me started in a lot of things.
What do you think were some of the early challenges for you when you started jujitsu? I guess it's kind of different, right? Because you weren't like a first day person that knew nothing because you had been watching your children do it. But
Mhm.
what do you think some of your challenges were when you first started?
Oh gosh, when I first started, I was I was 75 pounds heavier, and I can remember, and I tell people all the time, like the first day was rough. I'm so glad that I came back. The cardio killed me. Um, I can remember thinking, this is so stupid. I go on walks, I hike. Why is running in a circle for the first 30 minutes, doing forward rolls? Why am I like ready to die on the edge of the mat? Like it was mind boggling. Um, the cardio, yeah, absolutely killed me. But just the very humbling, because I thought, okay, I've watched my kids do this. I've worked with this. I exercise. Like I'd been lifting weights. I go to the gym. I take care of myself. Yes, I was overweight, but that was some other things. And so just realizing that, oh no, this is not as simple as I thought it would be, or as my body's going to tolerate it as well, was a very humbling experience. And yeah, I wanted to leave and cry, and it was very hard to come back because I thought surely I could do this, and I made it through by the skin of my, teeth, but it was the cardio and just the humbling experience of it looks a lot easier than what it
Mm,
actually is.
mm. Yeah, because I had been lifting weights most of my life, right? I had joined UFC primarily to lift weights. Then I did a lot of the fitness classes there.
Mhm.
Similarly, I felt I was in pretty good shape, right? I think I did start a little later in life, but I said, you know, I felt confident I could do it, but yeah, I got wrecked. Like
Yeah.
I just I do one class a week and I'll be just totally wrecked after that one class. I think there were multiple things, right? So cardio wasn't as big a issue for me, but it was understanding how to train properly. You know,
Hmm.
how to level up and level down with energy and intensity and breathing and all that. It did take Carter and I a while to figure that out.
Yeah. I still notice that I'll hold my breath sometimes when I'm doing movements. I'm like, nope, I gotta, I gotta breathe.
Was, thinking back, was there anybody that stood out that kind of helped you in the beginning that kind of kept you kind of moving forward, like maybe slowly building confidence in what you're doing?
I think all the coaches did, because even Coach Gee was there. Um, so Coach Zach and Coach Kavai were really good. Um, and I can remember these stupid teenagers are yelling at this old person to move faster, and I don't have the ability to do that. And Coach Jay was wonderful. I mean, he would, instead of making me do drills or rounds with people, it was, hey, if you want to go work and get better at the warm-ups, you can go do that instead of doing live rounds. And so knowing that it was okay to go do that was great.
Yeah, pretty much every person that's either trained at Waikele or Mililani has brought up Jay. He's a fantastic coach. He helped me and Carter also a lot. So yeah, having
Yeah.
supportive people in your corner as you're starting. Cause yeah, it would have been harder for you because your kids are doing it, right? You couldn't just say, I forget, I don't want to do it anymore because you're setting the example for them,
Yeah.
right? But in a normal situation, person shows up, it's so hard, they give up and quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've talked to a few people that had done wrestling, right? And then they said wrestling's really difficult. And same thing, but it built up their character, their grit, right? I think similarly with you for your jujitsu, right? You probably could have found a reason to give up, but you didn't. So
Yeah.
the Sarah you see today is much different than the Sarah before you stepped on the mat. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
100%. That Sarah was going through a lot. And so having jujitsu and having that, it was a reminder to not quit when things get hard, and that, you know, in order to grow and become better, we have to go through the hard things. And that's, it's going to be more beneficial in life when we do that.
One common theme we also talk about is how jujitsu is not only physically, that it only helps you physically, but there is a definite mental side to it where there's a release, a reset, right? I think from the aspect of jujitsu itself, but also the community that it's built around,
Hmm.
right? The coaches, the teammates, you can confide in people that things that you probably wouldn't I mean, think about it, right? If like for jujitsu, everyone's a stranger, right? When they first showed up class, you don't know nothing about them. Six
Yeah.
months, they're almost like your best friend. You could talk about
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah. There's a bond and relationship that's built through jujitsu that it's hard to describe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. And even to see how it can go from gym to gym. And it's like, you might not train with these people all the time, but I don't know, it's an amazing network, to be able to go and be able to talk to the same people, and yeah, just have that connection.
You just put two people that know jujitsu in the same room and the conversation can go on for hours.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you've gotten past the cardio hurdle. You
Mhm.
kind of understand the warm ups, right? Um, what's next? Like, what's the next big step that you kind of take to kind of continue on your journey
Yeah.
to jujitsu?
I was just gonna do it for fun. I was just gonna, stay a white belt forever, and only train a few times a week, um, just so that I could show the boys, yeah, mom's doing something hard. But my two older boys who had been competing for a year, um, they were getting ready for more competitions, and well, they saw that mom joined class for Theodore, so they said, "Well, mom, can you compete with us?" I'm like, I don't want to. This is not like no. Um, and so I made a deal with my two older boys. I said, if you place first, second, third in the next four competitions before Naga or whatever competition was gonna come May or whatever, I will compete with you. Well, dang it, they did it, and they did it 100%. And so then I had to follow through on my end of yeah, I'll compete now. Yeah, I was not.
you you couldn't go back on your word. You committed to it, right?
I did. They worked their butts off, and they placed like I asked them to, and so they held up their end. So I needed to hold up my end of the deal, and um, yeah, that was a dumb first competition. Didn't win. I was because I was so big. There's no women really in my weight class, so then I had to do. I call it the free for all, but it's the open weight,
Open weight.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Won by decision. Um, Coach Kavai had me do a Shark Tank like the week of. Because I thought I'd been training a little bit, so I'd gain, a little bit of that confidence of, okay, sure,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I understand things, I'll do okay. That Shark Tank, it was once again wanted to cry. I didn't. Um, and then even the girl that I was competing against, she had reached out to me and was going to ask if I was going to drop out just because I was so much bigger than she was. And I'm like, no, like I'm not going to. Um, but so lost and it's fine. Continued on anyways.
You know the interesting thing, right, about the deal you made with your kids, right, about your two
Mhm.
boys, about them doing well. It was that's kind of an interesting dynamic where you motivated them, but they also motivated you,
Yeah.
right? So that's pretty cool that you have that relationship with your boys that, mom says do this and they do it. Okay, now I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, right? So it's building that level of trust, even not only with you, but just people in general, right? That,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to commit to something. It's hard work. I'm going to do it, but here's the reward at the end. So
Yeah.
I think that was a really good moment for you. Maybe may not have looked at like, oh, dang it, I got to compete now, but you know, 10, 20 years from now, they're going to say, oh, mom, remember when we made you do that tournament? And I mean, that's a precious memory that you'll have forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've been really blessed with that because then they were asking more for me to compete. And so then I was doing more of it. And then when summer hit, Coach Zach was dragging me to any open mat, any gym, pretty much. And it got me to a point where in 2024, I was very blessed to be able to train pretty much Tuesday through Sunday, multiple times a day. I think I was at one point training anywhere from 10 to 12 times a week. And I loved it. I loved it. It was so ridiculous.
Wow.
I never thought I'd love doing it that much, but it was like, let's go, let's do this. And it was amazing.
Was it at that point that you got hooked on jujitsu?
Probably, probably because it was another thing that I could do with my kids.
Mm.
And I, maybe it's not, I don't know. I say I'm an obnoxious mom, but I enjoy going on activities with my kids. I've taken them. We've been very blessed with different things in our lives. And I take them on road trips. I volunteer in scouts with them. So I go on scouting activities with them and go on campouts. I take them out snorkeling. I try and create as many opportunities where we can spend time together and do things together and help to build our relationship. So it might, be kind of obnoxious, but then it was also another fun thing that the two older kids and I could do together with the competitions and different things, and have that almost like one-on-one time instead of just everyone gets mom's attention at one time.
I talk about that a lot about, there's periods of time in your life that are really great and good. And sometimes we take it for granted, but it's not there forever, right? Your
Yeah,
boys are going to get to be young adults before you know it. And then they'll have their own family. And that time that, you had enjoyed, it's in the past, but it's a cherished memory again. So
yeah,
when you're in that season of happiness, enjoyment, gotta really make sure we enjoy it and we take time to have those types of moments because before you know it, they're just not there anymore.
yeah, yeah. And it's a blessing to be able to have that.
You know, when we coached at UFC, one of my main not goals, but one of the things that I always try to do is convince the parents to train
Hmm.
because I don't know if I told this story before, but um, they don't train anymore. But I had a parent that would always be yelling at his kids, and on the drive home, well, why didn't you just do this or just stand up? Let's just do this. I go, say, Ray, you come out, and then you see how easy it is when this big dude is smashing you and holding you down, and you don't know what to do. And he gained a new appreciation for what the kids were going through,
Yeah,
right? Because I mean, just like you said, you looked on the side, this looks pretty easy. I think I can do this. And then you're in there going, holy smokes, this is so much more difficult, right?
yeah,
So then the compassion levels change, right? Even I see it a lot at the tournaments, right? The parents that don't train,
yeah,
the ones that are going wild and yelling and just going crazy, like it's like magic. The kid's just going to do whatever it takes to win. It's just not that easy.
yeah. And it's not. And I tell my boys, I ask them if they want to compete. I don't force them to. Like, if you want to compete, that is up to you. I think it's great and I'm going to encourage it. But you have to have that want. Don't do it because you think I'm going to expect you to do it. It's if you want to do it, great. I will support you wholeheartedly, win or lose, because we compete in order to see where we're at as a grappler and to see if what we're learning in class is actually like if we're actually understanding it and if we can really apply it. Because when we are constantly training with the same people over and over, we know almost what their reactions and timings and different things are going to be. So we get comfortable with them. And so then it's harder to base, am I really improving or am I staying stagnant in my training journey? And so you go there to see where you are at in your journey. And most importantly, you go and have fun with it. Because if you're not having fun with it, then you might as well not do it. Because I want this to be something that brings you joy and not something that you're doing it just because mom expects you to do it. And so you're doing it to please her because you know, you can do your chores then. But this is something that should be, this should be something
Right.
that makes you
Right.
happy.
And you hit on another theme that comes up frequently about jujitsu needs to be fun,
Mhm.
right? Even for adults, right? Why would you do something like you gotta work, right? It's not fun, but it's a necessity, right? You have to work. But
Right.
jujitsu is not a necessity. You don't have to do jujitsu. You want to do jujitsu, right?
Yeah.
Because it's fun. It's an enjoyment. It's a pleasure, right? Once that goes away, I've seen where, kids kind of are forced into it. Once they reach kind of an age where they can say no, it stops. It's done,
Yeah.
right? And just totally goes away. So you're right. Having it to be fun is the key, right? So as long as your boys enjoy it, that's great. And you have a very good perspective on the competition aspect, right? Not everyone sees it that way. That's I won't say it's like an advanced mindset, but most people don't look at it that way, right? I'm going to go, I'm going to win, and that's it. And if I
Yeah.
lose, I suck,
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's not that. It's that continual improvement, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's because it's like you go and you work your butt off, and then as long as you try your best and you're trying to do your best, that's what matters at the end of the day, is that you showed up and you continued to train. You signed up for the competition, which that I think is one of the hardest things to do. It's nerve-wracking to step on the mat and figure out what to do with all of this adrenaline. And then you have to remember all of these different moves and techniques and listen to the coaches and try and find the coach's voice in the crowd with everyone else yelling. And so if you win, great. But if you lose, that's fine too, because you still showed up and you still put in the work and the time to do something extremely difficult.
You're absolutely right. Have you ever thought about becoming a coach yourself?
I kind of coach. I help out with the kids' classes. And that got started because my kids were being obnoxious. And Coach Gee one time, after a while, was like, "Do you have your gi on you and you can hop on the mat and help?" I'm like, "Yep, I can do that." And I've coached at the competitions. Um, Oftentimes, originally, it was I'm blessedly loud, to the point it's really bad. You can hear me across the you can hear me across the gymnasium with everyone. And so a lot of times I was more repeating what the coaches were saying just because I'm so loud. But it's gotten to the point that Coach Kyle has let me coach some of the kids, and I've helped to coach some of the adults through some competitions.
That's that's quite an accomplishment at your belt level and the years of experience you have. Because I was just talking to somebody yesterday about cornering and coaching at tournaments, right? It's not an
Mhm.
easy thing to do. And just because you have a high level belt, it doesn't mean you know how to do it. There's a
Yeah,
lot involved with knowing how to corner somebody properly and not just
yeah,
yelling random things that they won't be able to do.
yeah. I feel like you have to know as best as possible what their strengths are, what who you're cornering, what their strengths are, and where their weaknesses are, so that you can help watch for that as they're on the mats competing, and so you can help guide them through that.
Because one of the other things he said that made a lot of sense too is that you don't call a move when it's there because it's too late.
Hmm.
You're kind of trying to anticipate the movements of the opponent so that you can put your athlete in the best position to execute the technique. And I mean, I think you kind of got OJT by on the job training by, like yelling out what they were yelling. So then it
Yeah,
started to stick. Yeah. So that's really, cause I asked him like, how do you get better at cornering people or coaching people at tournaments? He said it's the coach's job to coach his coaches so that
yeah,
they can get better at it. Because I mean, unfortunately in Hawaii, we don't have a tournament every week, right?
yeah,
We don't have a whole lot. Maybe we have on average one a month. And that's not a whole lot of opportunities to hone your skill.
mm, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
not really.
and then I think,
Oops, we lost. Oh, all
sorry,
right. Oh, okay.
I don't know what happened on my end. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Um,
I can still hear you. Go ahead.
okay. Um, After coaching, if there was something that I didn't understand, I try and go back to the other coaches and ask, how come this didn't work, or why did this happen this way? And so I try and figure out if there was something that I could have done better, walking them through it.
Let me ask you a question unrelated to any of this, right? What did you do? What did you study in college?
Um, I I don't even know anymore. It's been so long since I went through school. And I just have a stupid associate's degree. I was my end goal was to try and go back to try and go medical school. But I enjoyed um, the psychology classes, and um, I don't know, I enjoy working with people. So in college, I was mostly doing, I don't know, just your general eds for the first
Mm.
2 years.
The only reason I ask, right, is your approach to a lot of this. It's very structured, and it's. I mean, I get the vibe like you were a good student in school. I don't know if you were or not, but just the way that you approach it, the way you try to learn things, right?
Yeah.
It's different than the way most, I want to say, standard people approach jujitsu, right? I'll just come in, learn the technique, go home, and rinse and repeat, right? Just keep kind of doing the same thing. But it's interesting your approach on that, the way you want to try to learn things.
Yeah. So we can attribute it to my ADHD, maybe. It's like a puzzle. And so I want to be able to solve it and work on it, and um, be able to help people where I can with it, because I am so fascinated by it. Um, but also, I think a lot of how I was raised with my family, it was always try your best. And we don't quit when something's hard. Um, and then even in color guard, when I was doing that, it was my coach, I felt like, held me to a different standard than the other people. And so I just learned to, I don't know, take that with me and try and figure out and solve as much things as possible, because also the only way to get better is to study it and practice it, and have a better understanding of it.
It's interesting. You talk about solving puzzles and enjoying that aspect of it. We were When we were like helping some of the kids at UFC. There's this one kid that he'd do stuff that we didn't teach him. Like he
Hmm.
just come up with these things, and like I was kind of dumbfounded. Like even Car and I would go like, where did he get that from? But then we talked to the mom. The mom said, oh, he likes to do puzzles and he recognizes patterns.
Hmm.
So that aspect of the mind, the way the mind works, I think it's very beneficial to jujitsu, because jujitsu can be very pattern oriented. If you detect, tendencies, it will help you to predict what will work and where you should go next.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And um, one thing that I found, and it's been fun to see my oldest recognize things. We were doing some drills, and he needed to do a sit out, and it's something part of the warm ups that we do. And once
Mm.
he figured out that that's how you can almost get away from when someone's getting on your back, and just to watch the light bulb of it connecting, he's like, oh, that makes so much sense. I'm like, yeah. And I also tell people, I'm like, I can see and recognize the patterns. I might not be able to do what I'm telling you need to do, but I can see what the pattern is and I can
Mm.
explain it. And just that's how I also taught my kids how to do backflips into pools. I can't do it, but I taught my kids how to do it.
Maybe your true calling is being a teacher.
Maybe, I don't know. I've coached a few things, and I like working with kids, um,
Mm.
and it's fun.
So, when was your last competition?
Um, I stupidly signed up last minute, and I probably shouldn't have. Um, Whatever this last Naga one was,
Uh,
I think
uh,
in May. Um, it was one of those. Probably shouldn't have done it, but did it anyways. Um, hadn't trained for like 2 weeks, and was just like, oh, we're gonna see how I do on this. And it was bad. It was rough, but also where I've been at in life. Like we said, jiu-jitsu can help with emotions. And it was like everything the last, at that point, 5 to 6 months just came out on that competition mat, and not in a beneficial way for me. But at the same time, I also just saw the person that I'd competed against at um, IBJJF, and she's, you know, moved on to bigger and better things. And I'm like, okay, also she's 23 and I'm like 10 years older than her. And it was fine, but I know it was fun. It was as poorly as I did. I was, one of those things I'm glad that I still uh, did it.
I think any competition that you do where you don't get seriously injured is a win. It is
Yeah.
something to build off of, right? Because I saw you at Honolulu Open, but you're handing out the medals, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
It, I guess timing wasn't right for you to try for that one.
Timing and just the stuff that life's handing right now.
Mm,
Going
mm.
through a lot of changes. And so things are sparse. If I had all the money in the world, and could train, the boys and I would have done that. I was hoping that we could do that. But where we're at right now, it's not something that we're able to do and compete as much. And so that's been hard. It's like,
So, I mean, you're a busy mom. You got 4 boys. I mean,
Mhm.
do you have time to do anything else in your spare time?
No, not right now. I don't know. With school starting last week, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go back and we're gonna be at the gym every day. And um, no, we've not routines. I'm like, this is awful between uh, some good friends moving and sunburns and school starting. We've not. The gym has been not happening, unfortunately, because I am a single mom, and so it's trying to get 4 kids, wrangling them, and it's what do I have the bandwidth to fight with today? And so sometimes it's, I guess we'll sacrifice that time and we'll make it count. But right now in this season, it's been a very difficult season to make sure I'm getting more time on the mats.
Mm, mm. I guess, I mean, you have the room. You can beat each other up in the room, right?
Yeah, and my poor oldest. And I'm like, I know you don't want to do this, but please, I can you just love your mom today and help her out? And so yeah, mom, I'll do it. And then typically Ezra will come in, and then what's supposed to be like 15 minutes of here, let me just drill this with you, turns into 2 hours with the older two. And it's usually ending up a good time. That's how I broke my toe in the beginning of July, is because my oldest was helping me with handstands, because he can do handstands. And right now, one of the warm ups is that Coach Mark has put on for adults class is handstand walk. And so I decided at 36 I needed to learn how to do a handstand. And my oldest was trying to help me, and he may have accidentally pushed me towards the window. And when he was trying to help balance me, and broke a toe when I lost my balance, and it was fine.
Oh, yeah. I have my perspective on some of the warm up routines that different schools and different places do. I mean, I was at UFC for 8 years. I can appreciate, loosening up, limbering up. I tend to prefer warm ups that are more related to what's going to happen in the class. Like,
Mhm.
I'm probably not going to do a handstand that day. I'm probably not going to do jumping jacks. I'm probably not going to do a lot of that stuff. I mean, I get that it'll loosen up all parts of your body, but so will like a flow roll with your partner,
Yeah.
a guard passing drill, things that are more directly related. I'm not saying what other schools is wrong, but it's just my personal preference on how I like to warm. I mean, I'll be honest with you. At where we train over at Concept, we don't do any traditional warm ups. He makes the kids do them, which I think
Yeah.
it's important that the kids get them in. But as adults, people come in, stretch out, do their loosening up, so you can just focus on the class. Yeah, it's like I know because the windows are small for training, and if you spend a third of the time doing calisthenics, I mean, it does help with fitness, though. Like you said, I mean, you're kind of
Yeah.
dying, right, the first time. So it kind of open your eyes like, hey, I better get better at this stuff, right? So,
Yeah. Well, and it's I like for how he's changed the warm-ups a little bit. They're not what was originally the warm-ups when I first started. And I don't know, not that they're necessarily more wrestling focused, but it's also about teaching body awareness almost and balance, which I think is important because especially if we're working on takedowns and different things, we need to know where our balance is in our bodies. And heck, even if you're in someone's close guard and they're trying to sweep you, if you don't have a good base and know where that balance is in yourself, then you're more um, likely to get swept.
you're
And so
right.
that's what I kind of like about it too. It's helping to teach that balance in your body.
So, speaking of that, I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions as we
Okay.
talk about that question triggered. Okay, so what's your favorite guard?
Um, I don't know if I have one. I do a lot of the De La Hiva if I can, just because my legs are so
Daliva.
long. Yeah.
What's your go-to submission?
Um, if I can get anywhere from S mount, if I can get on top mount and go to S mount, I will typically try and do a choke from the back. I like to do the bow and arrow choke. Um, and so I like that one.
Okay, takedown or guard pull?
Takedown.
What's your favorite takedown?
Any that I can get. I don't necessarily have a favorite one. Um, I don't think I have a favorite one. Just anyone that I can hit is my favorite at that time.
What do you have the most success with?
Um, I don't. I don't have
You
a
don't?
successful one. Nope. Because I don't train them as often as I should. How
Mm,
I end up getting lucky is because they pull guard, and
uh,
I
uh,
I've
and
gotten
then you're on
quick enough
top.
that I can
Uh,
get past it. But um, no, I'm trying to think of my last. Even at Worlds, when I did Worlds, it was she ran into me, and I ended up. Yeah, I don't even know what takedown I managed to get. It's just I got her on the ground.
don't feel bad. I'm not a takedown person. I understand them so that I can teach them to kids, but
Yeah.
I'll never attempt to take down. I'm 100% guard puller. All right. I know UFC, you got to wear UFC gis, but outside of
Uh-huh.
that, do you have a favorite gi brand?
Um, no, I don't. I really like whatever brand I bought when I was in Vegas. I think it's Crown. I don't know, as I'm looking at it. I think it's Crown.
Mm.
I don't know. It's a super lightweight gi and
Uh,
it's amazing, super comfortable. But no, I don't have a favorite brand.
how about favorite color of gi?
Black, probably just it looks nice. It's just it looks really nice. But I don't know. That's
Are you, do you do no gi?
on occasion I'll do it. I don't I don't mind it. It's
Mm.
I like that the gi absorbs people's sweat so it's not dripping right on me and gi, no gi, yeah, it's a little bit
Yes, yes. I gotcha. All right. If you have a favorite training partner, who is it?
I don't know that I do have a favorite training partner. There's a bunch of different people I enjoy training with. I enjoy Coach Zach, Coach Kavai. There's a black belt at North Shore that I love rolling with her any and every opportunity that I can get. Stephanie, she's amazing. But yeah, I don't know if I particularly have a favorite training partner.
Maybe your son's gonna say, "Mom, what about me?"
Yeah, he's my favorite one that I can be obnoxious to.
All right. Best training advice you've ever received.
Um, the best training advice was if you've practiced it a million times, you can do it. It's you're getting too much in your head when it comes to the actual timing of doing it. And so stop worrying about it because you've proven to yourself that you can do it and just do it. Um, and so it's kind of removing that mental block of I can't. And it's like, oh, I do this during drills, I do this during warm-ups. And so I can do it. And so it's just remembering that.
Like having confidence in yourself. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Do you have a favorite post-training meal?
No, I don't eat after gym. I'm really bad. I'm probably the worst grappler when it comes to eating because I don't eat a whole lot before class. And then if I eat after class, it's maybe after I've fed the kids dinner and have gotten myself something to eat. Um, if I could have anything that I wanted after class, it'd probably be a good, nice steak and potatoes, just
Hmm.
something hearty like that.
There you go. All right. If you have one, your favorite sports team.
I don't have one anymore. I don't have one anymore. I liked the 49ers because at one point when I was little, because my older brother liked the 49ers. But other than that, I don't watch a lot of sports anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I don't think you have a whole lot of free time anymore.
No.
Okay, so I have one for you, right? So if you could roll with anybody in history, right? Past, present, or even potentially future. And it doesn't have to be somebody in jiu-jitsu. It could be anybody. I had people say like former presidents, actors. I had somebody say Jesus the other day. Who would it be?
Um, this might sound strange. My mom would probably listen to this and be, "Why him?" But my uncle, um, and it's weird because I can remember watching him do all sorts of jujitsu stuff to my brother when I was younger. And we were all, he was kind of intimidating as an uncle, but as an adult now, and I can talk to him about this thing that we never had this connection before. And so I would love to roll with him and see just, I don't know, to have that connection with him.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting. So I'm assuming your uncle's probably like a black belt already?
No, he stopped
No?
training after a while, just
Ah.
because work and things got busy. And I think there was also, um, he would do things differently than what the coaches liked, if I remember correctly from what he was telling me when I talked to him about it last. And so, just at that time, it was when jujitsu was first getting bigger, and he was in Vegas training with some people. And so, he wasn't going to do what they said just because they said it.
Uh,
And
uh,
so, he ended up leaving, but I think it'd still be fun to go
yeah, yeah.
try and,
Maybe you could motivate him to maybe try a different school and get
yeah,
back into it again. Yeah, like I always tell people, jujitsu is always there. Just jump back in when the timing's right.
yeah.
All right. So I've been closing out the episodes with talking about mentors and mentorship. Um, you know, there's a lot of people in our lives that have helped us to get where we're at. And sometimes it's obvious, right? Like, like our parents or, certain people, even professionally, our bosses and stuff. And sometimes there's people that are our mentors that they don't even know it because we're just
Yeah.
observing their behaviors and mannerisms. But I think it's important that we recognize people, whether they're obvious or not. And I want to give you a chance to, you know, talk about these people that were in your life.
Yeah, I would say, sorry. I don't know if you've had the anti squad on here, but those women that have started, a lot of them started at Mililani. They have been wonderful blessings in my life. And then North Shore, that has been a great place to go to with Coach Mike, and Coach Brandon has been there too. And just the connection there, and always willing to help and answer questions. And they have been huge for me too. And then a lot of people at UFC, um, especially with the last year that my family has had, and the love and support that they've continued to show my family in the very trials that we've gone through. And knowing the poise of circumstances and taking the time to show them extra love and help and compassion with the things that they're going through, instead of being like, oh, well, he's just misbehaving because he's got ADHD or different things. It's they're showing that they the support, and that you still have people in your corner even though your life's been turned upside down.
I'm, yeah, I'm sorry for the things that, the challenges that you're facing, but I'm happy to hear that you have a strong support group. And I'm definitely in your corner as well, Sarah.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
just hang in there. The seas are rough now, but at some point you'll hit calmer waters, and then
Yeah,
you'll be able to get back to yourself and, enjoy life as you should.
yeah, and it's I tell people, I said it's been rough, but it could be worse. And we are extremely blessed to have the support and community that we have. And I don't know what I do without it, because it's been the biggest blessing um, in our lives to make this season of life feel easier and to feel as normal as possible.
Yeah. I'll send my prayers your way, Sarah,
We'll
that you
take
can
them.
get through this, and, you know, we'll get together again when happier times are there, and then
Yeah.
we can smile moving forward.
Yep, sounds good. I appreciate it. And I look forward to it. I love seeing you at the competitions and in classes.
All right, Sarah, from everybody at Small Man, want to thank you again for taking time to be part of our journey, and we hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you.